This is that awkward silence when there isn't an audience. Now there's an audience. Yay! Welcome, everybody. Sup Connect Live. I'm Kristen Thomas, and every Thursday I talk to people in the stand-up paddling world. Thanks for coming back. If you're a regular, if you haven't been here before, welcome. I think we're on like 120 episodes or something crazy. Started out of COVID because this was going to be a short thing, and it kept going, which I have had so much fun with. Thanks to all of you again who listen, who make suggestions, who ask questions. Hi, Joseph, one of our regulars. Super excited about today. I am going to be talking to an old friend, one of the earliest people I met in stand-up paddleboarding, I think. Did meet them through stand-up paddleboarding. It's been over a decade, and I haven't seen her in ages. I very much think about her as the Arizona gal. I now know quite a few people in Arizona, but one of her early missions was to share that it is a great place to paddle. 70% of the earth is water, and you can find water almost everywhere. But she's just such a wonderful, wonderful person. Talking about Suzi. Her last name has changed since I've seen her last, and she's married now. Amore-DeMaio. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. She'll hopefully correct me if not. So let's see if we can find her. Yes, it's on Instagram. She is actually traveling. Oh, Salmon River. There's a beautiful place. And June, sorry. We have a Junie here in California. Congratulations to you on finishing Chattajack. That's very exciting. So again, a paddler with a lot of things going on. I'm going to call her an ambassador, what her subspecialty is. Surf Fit Locker, haven't talked to you in a long time. Hope you're doing well. Leak. I think she will be on, I believe she said her husband's Instagram account. They are traveling right now. Hello. We had a first timer. Hi, Laguna Sherry. I'm going to see you tonight. My neighbor's on. That's always so fun. And Team Surf 27. I should know who that is. All you guys with your fun Instagram different names. So we are looking right now for Suzi. She's traveling. It's funny because she said, as much as we're going to be talking about Arizona, she's not in Arizona. They're doing a cross-country trip, and she is in... I'm on it. Oh no, help. Sorry. Not funny. Let's see. Okay, you're on here and I'm going to find you. You're supposedly on this list somewhere with the other people who have joined us. So let me know. Oh, there's Larry. How are you? Trace. I think you didn't end up. Replied to your story. Hi. Okay. We are live on Sup Connect, so go over to Sup Connect on your Instagram. You can just join the live, and by joining, it shows me that you are on. Now, I'm saying that out loud, and I don't see your name, so I don't know that if you are listening to that right now. Always tricky. Hey, Paddle Club with a K. Good to see you again. Ah, there you are. I see you. You found us. Yay. Outdoor Arizona 365. What a great Instagram handle. Very appropriate. So I'm going to find you now and invite you, and then you click the join button. And it. Nate and Suzi, they share an Instagram account. That's so cute. You guys are so cute. Yay. Suzi, and I bet Nate's standing right there out of the camera. Well,
no. Nate is far from me.
Oh, he's not with you on this trip.
He's not with me. I'm all alone with the trees. I decided to be outdoors for you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm not, but I'm glad you are, because we're going to talk a lot about the outdoors. Thanks for finding this. I know sometimes it's a little strange, and I know you're on the road. I was just explaining that as much as we're going to talk about your passion for Arizona, you're on the road right now.
Well, thank you sorry for my delay, and thanks for having me, Kristen.
No problem. Great to have you. Hey, look what I still have.
I gave that to you in Tahoe?
I don't remember where, but I have had it for a long time, and it says Arizona, and I got it from you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was trying to remember where we first met. Was it Tahoe, or was it down here at one of the Southern California, maybe a Battle of the Paddle?
It was OR, but I can make a list of all the great places that
Yeah, yeah.
each
Yes.
other.
So OR is outdoor retailer, and both of us were actively going to trade shows at the beginning of stand-up paddling, which was a really fun era because besides just the companies, they were bringing in sort of anybody who paddleboarded. So you've always been such a great ambassador for our sport on so many levels. But I think at the beginning, one of the early supporting brands was Hobie.
Yes.
You were working with them, but back us up and tell us kind of your water story. Were you always a water person, and how'd you find stand up?
Well, I became fascinated with surfing in New Jersey. And but then in my 30s, when I moved out to Arizona, I said, oh no, I just started to like this sport. What am I going to do? And then I read Laird Hamilton's book. And towards the end of the book, he talked about stand up paddling. And you couldn't stop me from wanting to try that. So I immediately found a place to rent a board in Arizona in the Valley of the Sun. And within 2 seconds, I knew I was going to do this forever.
Ah,
And
two
you know,
seconds in. I love that.
2 seconds, 2 seconds, the rental company and some friends were around me. And when my feet stood on the board, they went away. And I was almost just so taken aback with elation. And I just wanted everyone to go away and I just wanted to glide. And I I haven't, that feeling has not stopped. I get butterflies every time I go out.
Oh, I love that. That's so awesome. Yeah. And if you can tell already, Susie has an amazing spirit and personality that just oozes out of you. It's so fantastic. So great to see you face to face again, even if we're not in. So you did find a rental place because I would think you were, was it, do you remember what year it was?
It was around 2009, so it was hard. It actually wasn't hard to find. It, I think it was the only person doing it down in Chandler, so South Valley. And I mean, it was only for a half hour, and then I ran out to California, my first Battle of the Paddle, and happily found a board and drove it home. And I can't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. Absolutely love that. Yeah. So surfing came first. That we have heard that story before. I don't think I've heard that people actually read a book and said, "Ooh, stand up paddling. That might be my next thing." So that's fun that you found it through Laird. We do. I don't know if you remember those stickers that said "Blame Laird."
Yeah,
Did you have one of those?
I did. I did not, but I don't blame him. I, I think the world of him that I was able to see, something like this that I wouldn't have known about. People didn't start doing it in the Valley for quite a while. I was kind of solo out there with a couple friends, and now, it's everywhere, of course, all over the world. But yeah.
Yeah, still such a versatile sport. But the Blame Laird sticker, though, he actually really embraced and thought it was funny. And
Yeah.
yeah, he said, sure, blame me. I'll take credit for it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there has always been, as many of us who love surfing too, there's still some contentiousness between in the actual waves between
Yeah.
a stand paddle surfer and a regular surfer, or I'm going to say between a regular surfer and anybody else on anything else,
And
because we definitely
it's
have that here.
Yeah, and the safety factor. I mean, gosh, you have that board coming at you and you're on a tiny surfboard. Rightfully so. I think surfers have the right of way, and I don't know how it all goes.
Yeah, it has changed a lot though. I mean, my stand-up paddle surfboard's smaller than my regular surfboard. It's
So,
shorter and lighter, so things do change over time. But boy, yes, those early boards, the first one I tried was a Laird, and it took two people to carry it down, to the water. They weighed a lot, so we're lucky all the changes that we've seen and how things have adapted. But what hasn't changed, like you said, is that feeling when you get on the water and the love of the glide and just this amazing craft that you can take in so many different places. So I'm not sure how early, like you said, you didn't have a lot of people around you. Arizona. I don't know if somebody said something to you or what spurred you on to have, and I will repeat it a couple of times. The name of your Facebook page is the Arizona Stand-Up Paddle List, because you want people to know there are bodies of water and places to paddle in Arizona.
Well, I'm not so sure about that lately, but back when in 2009, yeah, I kind of changed that name around. It was Suzi's List, and then I just kind of made it generic, the Arizona Stand-Up Paddle List. And, I just took out an actual map, a paper map. I folded it, and I looked at how many amazing little blue spots there were. So I just made up the list. I researched about 80 places, and you know how vast this state is. For anyone who doesn't know, north to south, it's almost 7 hours, and then west, almost the same. So, there's a lot of different territory and elevation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got through about 40 of them, and there's 80 that I have on the list.
I love that. Yeah.
But still working and not retired yet. So, they chipped away at little places anytime there's a moment to go have a little adventure.
Yeah. I know you have a background in personal training, and I'm sure that active athlete side of you. Are you still actively doing that?
Yeah, and I've actually changed that title to physical trainer. I appreciate the physical nature as opposed to being personal with people. I'm happy to be personal with people, and I am personal. But physically, from your neck down, I want to help you as much as I can. So I do make house calls. I still do one-on-one training, and yeah, as soon as I stand up, you know, finding stand-up paddling, I thought it was just the most incredible way for to be fit and to have exercise like that in my life.
Yeah. So do you use that with some of your clients? Is paddling part of it?
I used to. My demographic is 65 to 90 years old.
Hmm.
A lot of them are interested, and I've taken a lot of them out, but they're not really looking for that as a hobby or their fitness. So I do it as a treat. Let's do it for your birthday, your Christmas present. I'll just go take them. But, and some of my clients have bought boards, but for the most part, doing classes and teaching people. I used to do all of that. Now I pretty much do it for myself.
And that's okay. We love it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So the Hobie thing, when you went out to that first Battle of Paddle, did you find them and meet them then, or was that a little later? Is that the kind of board you ended up with? There were a lot around here.
Yeah, it was a very funny coincidence how I met Sean Douglas. And Stand Up Paddle magazine was doing a photo shoot up at Lake Powell, and they needed a token girl. And they said, "Hey, can you come for 24 hours or whatever it was?" And I just got my brand new Hobie race board. And I said, "Can I bring my own board?" Just because I wanted to use my own board. He said, "No, the gentleman doing the shoot, no, we have plenty of equipment for you." And I was very excited to use my board. So I did strap it on top, and I took it anyway. And when I got there, emerged the Hobie crew from California for this photo shoot, and it was a Hobie shoot. So
Perfect.
that's where I first met them all, and it's been such a wonderful relationship, and I definitely love Hobie. Yeah.
Yeah. They've been through, they do still make paddle boards, but they don't quite have the same in my world, in the race world, because it's the family sold it. And, they make they're still an amazing company that has all kinds of
Oh,
watercraft, and
oh,
always really inventive and everything, which is super cool. Yeah. So, sorry, saying hello to people as they're joining. With Hobie, you and being in so early and sharing that, being very passionate about it, you did get quite a bit of coverage. So you were in an early stand-up paddle journal, but I think you've had some other media coverage too, haven't you, through the years?
Yeah, I think it's just I don't know. I think just being in it early on, and being I mean, I really every it's hard. I get speechless talking about how amazing it is, and how amazing it is. Um, hence having Nate and I having 13 boards at one time, and then chipping away at them and finding different sizes and shapes and what have you. But yeah, I guess I got into a few articles and such, but I love talking about it and all the wonderful benefits of it and the health benefits. I mean, let's
Yeah,
no,
well, as a physical trainer, you do know that, and so you can speak to that with some background and some knowledge, which is fantastic. I know racing isn't your thing, but I always try to find, besides my wonderful mother, thank you again for this, another dam race is on the Colorado River, which of course is one of the borders to the state of Arizona, and that certainly is a big body of water. Even though it's a river, it's very wide and it's lakes at places. So this goes from one dam down to another place. Actually, I think they've changed the course to go up and down the river.
yeah.
But
Nate
is
might
that
Nate might,
numbered on your list, Colorado River? Is it a number?
oh, I'm so sorry, I interrupted.
Now, is Colorado on your list of 80?
So Colorado has been on little portions of the list. So Lake Mead is above Hoover Dam. So Mojave Lake, Lake Martinez. So there's been sections of it that I've done. And yeah. And by the way, I think Nate's going to do ADR this year or go. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, nice t-shirt, if I may comment.
2011. So that was, I think, might have been
Yeah.
the first year they added stand-up paddling. It's older than that because it's had outriggers and other craft in it for a while, but an early race.
Mm.
So let's talk about other locations. Do you have, let's start with, how about the most difficult to get to? I mean, are there some have you been to any that you had to hike in or pack in? Nope. Are there some, probably, little blue dots on your map that do require that?
Yeah, and I think the only one, if I can remember right, it was up on the Navajo Nation. I had to get some of the American Indians, approval,
Ah,
and one of an old friend, she walked me into the lake, but then it wound up there was a fence around it, so we couldn't do it. That was probably the only time I really took a big old walk. Otherwise, they have been very convenient to get to. Some of them on a dirt road, but those ones I don't think I would actually go back to. Um, but yeah, there's a lot more to explore. That's for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, that's exciting. So, of again, the ones that you have been to, how about a favorite or a unique one or both?
Um, I think Lake Mead, top of the Hoover Dam. We got to, we were all by ourselves. We had about 5 friends with us, and we went for Thanksgiving. And we stayed overnight. And then in the morning, we got to paddle almost all the way up to the dam, and we were by ourselves. It was very interesting. I'm not a big fan of man-made structures, but that one's impressive. And I think Patagonia Lake too, if I were to think of one other one, down close to the border of Mexico, so south of Tucson. And there's a sweet little island. It's spot number 119, and Nate took me camping a couple times there. And you had your own little private island, so that was kind of fun
That's
and
fun. Yeah,
good adventure.
cool. So, maybe that the one you already talked about on, I hadn't thought about, there's a lot of Indian reservations and land, and that they might be on difficult places to get to. So, that one on the Navajo took a walk and it was fenced. Have you run into some other challenges like that?
Well, I'm very respectful of the American Indians. And there was a portion of the Salt River I wanted to try to get to, and I got stopped by the American Indian police, and they said, "No, no, turn around." And I said, "No problem. I didn't know." So you know, to be respectful of their borders and their lands, I don't think we're really aware. And they do border a lot of our waterways. So, you know, to just be aware of that is, and respectful, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's good, and understandable. But I don't want to. Although my friend Lynanne, who lives out here more than she does in Arizona now, it's funny because the Salt River is very high on my list because of the pictures I've seen. So, what do you think it is that I have seen that I really want to paddle along on the Salt River?
I think you and I will have a private conversation about that.
We're not telling people?
No, I have a few varying opinions about the Salt River,
Yeah.
and it's a
Well,
lovely.
it's not for everybody because there is white water, so you have to be careful. And I know it gets overrun, sort of. Yeah. But I am
Well,
going to mention that there are wild horses along the way, just because I think that's fascinating, and something you can't find in a lot of places.
they are fascinating, and those happen to be coming from the Indian Res on the other side of the river.
Mhm.
The side is Indian Res.
Yeah. So I would guess that you've had probably some issues with people probably getting too carried away and all. But so
Yeah,
we'll talk about that another time.
we'll talk. We'll totally talk about it.
Yeah. Now, we also have friends, mutual friends with stores. So there are paddling, I'm sure there's plenty of places, but I'm especially two great locations, one being Riverbound
Yeah.
in the Phoenix area, which has numerous, like, well, the Salt River's not that far, but lakes and such that you can get to. Terry and Corey Carlin have been longtime supporters of all things stand-up paddling and have a great store. Hello from Spain. I
Oh,
love that SupConnect gets people from everywhere.
oh, Spain.
Uh,
Yeah. Any.
yes. This is Susie, usually from Arizona, but at the moment in New Jersey. Are you there now?
Uh, not yet.
On the way, stopped along the road on her drive. I love that. Thank you for making it work. And then also Horseshoe Bend is in Arizona, correct?
Yeah, that's up by Lake Powell, and I have not done that.
Yeah, so that's one of those iconic pictures that I think
Yes.
many people have seen from above, but it takes, are you aware of it's a little extra effort to do that because of how the river works. So you have to get a boat ride up the river to
Mhm.
go down the river around that bend if you want to do it from below. But there's a great shop there too
Yeah.
in Parker with
Yeah.
Jordan and Joe Lapicus. So, and from the UK, we do have people from all over the place. So it's fun, and they do a neat thing because that is a huge tourist destination. That those slot canyons, I know they're near the border, so I think it's mostly in Arizona though, are amazing, and that you can paddle back until it gets so shallow that you just park your board and then you go for a hike.
Yeah.
That's truly one of the most amazing places that I have been on a paddleboard, and I think just fantastic.
It's forgettable. I mean, the vision and yeah, that's. I'm glad that you went there. I mean, that's a great trip.
Yeah, made yeah, super special one. So equipment, you I know you started with that Hobie well, you rented a board, but you got a Hobie race board early, and I know that's in so many of the beautiful shots that you have. But you said at one point you guys had 14 boards, and I think a lot of people who are traveling and looking for destinations have turned to inflatables. Have you done that at all? Have you gone that direction?
Yeah, inflatable touring, surfs up, race board. Yeah, we went through the whole gamut, and you know we still have different ones, and we even name them. You know, Nate and I have our lifestyle of no pets, no kids, no plants, so we have time to do our hobbies, and so therefore we've named our boards like they're our kids. You know, we take care of them, we treat them good, we keep them in air conditioning, you know, so we gave them all names.
Love it. Yep. Well, yes, I name my boards too.
You did.
Why not? They're special to us, right?
Oh yeah, very.
Yeah. So another thing that I didn't know about you that sounds absolutely fascinating is that you work with rescuing raptors. So talk a little bit about that, and then what your goal is, kind of, that has to do with stand-up paddling.
This is another one that just, it makes me speechless. I need a minute.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, I'm sorry that you're choked up, but that
No,
it means that much to you is really special.
two wonderful, wonderful aspects of our life. And um, we have been rescuing raptors for about 15 years, and we specialize in owls, but we rescue hawks and falcons as well. And the facility's main goal is to rehab them and then set them back to home territory or the wild again. So yes, I've always thought it would be very neat sometimes when we have to bring them back after they've been rehabbed, we take them back into nature and set them free. One thing I've always told them is I want to take one on my board in the box. We have a little pet carrier, and paddle him off to some beautiful lake destination and set him free off the board.
I love that. How about the island that you mentioned that you've camped on that Nate took you to? That seems like
Yeah,
a good place.
yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
it depends on what their environs they're used to, and they need the same type of flora, fauna, whatever around. Well, that's really cool. Tell me
Yeah.
about owls. I find fascinating. I hear them. We actually have them around here, and I can never spot them. Do you have any tips for how you find them?
Come visit me because
Okay.
you don't have any trees. So you see their silhouette very, very easily in our territory. But I don't think it's hard to capture them. You'll probably see a silhouette, but they will tuck into the trunk of palm trees and big trees. If you kind of look deep into it, they try to stay hidden.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you come visit one day, I'll give you a tour of our facility. We house usually over 300 raptors at one time,
Oh, wow.
being rehabbed or waiting to be released again, or permanently disabled ones that we use for education programs.
Oh, that's really cool. So, what is usually the issue when they're needing to rehab and be rescued? Is it do they get hit on streets? Is it more natural like predator problems?
Uh, I don't want to turn this conversation gunshot wound.
Oh,
Hit
e.
by car, rat poisoning if they eat, a rodent and he's poisoned. So, not making it be any kind of, I want to keep this light, of course,
Yeah,
but we, and for various reasons, some fall out of a nest. And, there's been many times that it's just something where, the main goal is just try to get it help and then get it rehabbed for as long as it takes. It could take a week up to a year, and then we have to treat it for that and house it. So a lot goes into it, but I'm happy that Nate likes to do it with me.
sounds fantastic. So you were doing it before you guys even met? And you didn't meet through paddleboarding or water, did you?
Oh yes, we did.
Ah, that's lovely. So
We
tell
did.
us that story if you
Um,
can.
it's one of my favorite reasons why I love stand-up paddling. I might have some visitors coming around, but we'll see. Sorry.
No problem.
um,
Keeps it interesting.
yeah, uh, I saw him paddling from across the water, and I was like, "Whoa, what's that?" So I just paddled over. No, but we did meet. We both were stand-up paddling, and we met through these great, meetup groups back when. And then happily, when we got married, he surprised me, and we had our wedding reception on our stand-up paddle boards with our friends, and that was nice.
Really nice. Oh, that's really special. Okay. We're gonna have to follow up with some pictures of that so I can share with everybody.
Yeah.
So, back to that list. It's taken some time to get to 41 and you have other things going on in your life. Do you have sort of a plan, or does it just kind of come about, hey, we're going to be in this part of the state? Where do you live right now? What part of Arizona are you in?
Carefree is.
And is that where the Raptor facility is too?
Carefree is right next to a town called Cave Creek. So the Raptors Wild at Heart is in Cave Creek. So Carefree is at the very top of Scottsdale runs 30 miles north and south, and we live way at the top of it.
Oh,
So,
very cool.
yeah.
Hey, somebody said hello to you, so I don't want to skip it. I have to scroll back here. Hi, Suze from K-Slice.
Oh, hi, Kay Slice. She's one of my favorite friends to paddle with out here.
Very fun. And Cody says hi too. I don't know if you know Cody from Coronado, but
I don't, but hello, Cody.
hello, Cody. Yeah, so raptors, that's an exciting one, and I hope that someday you do get to release a raptor. So from someone who started super early, how about some tips about getting started? And I guess one tip is just get a like finding a place when you don't know where, or you mentioned meetups, how to find people. It's easier today probably than it ever was, but you were in 2009 when there weren't that many people to find, and you even found your husband across the water. Wow.
Well, I guess a couple tips, for someone just starting out. Um, when I first started out, I got my paddle first. I just started accumulating my equipment and then ended up with my board. But I think what's very important, which I didn't realize back when, my paddle size and my paddle blade size in particular was definitely not for my size. And for years, I'm paddling this heavy, big blade. And same with my board. My board was a little too wide for all the fast, because I like doing the races. So all the training on those wide boards for my shoulder width, they were way too wide. So you want to get something, I think for the most part, picking a board for beginners is almost like trying on shoes. You go out and try a few and borrow one or rent one. And for the most part, I think we all fit them differently. They're not that different, but I feel like they are.
They are, and that's huge. You're very petite, and it does make a difference, shoulder width and everything, and how not only like the health of your whole musculature and everything and bones, but be able to paddle straight. If it's very wide and you're a little person, to stack your hands and try to is very hard to get to side. So lots of different things. We did use the sport was so new. I think they gave us paddles that were too long and too big a blade.
They
A
were
lot
from
of people had shoulder problems early on because we were trying to do the wrong thing. But I think a paddle is more important than the board. I really, a lot of people do start with adjustables, especially if they're sharing with a group or family or a couple so that they can change it. But once you know and get some good advice from a store or somewhere on what's right for your size, it's so nice to have a lightweight fixed paddle. I
Yes.
say that's the best place to invest first.
Agree. And I think I went through so many different companies with paddles. I have not paddled a lot of different boards, but when it comes to paddles, I've tried all of them, and I love quick blade. Quick blades definitely one that fits me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yes, which is, of course, a company out here, and I'm sure you've been there probably multiple times. They are fantastic. So I love the British term, your kit, they call it. Like, what is your equipment that you have, So what else is in your kit? You mentioned that you have lots of different kinds of boards. I don't know, you're on a road trip. Did you bring one with you? You can always rent something if you got to paddle in New
Oh,
Jersey. No
I,
board.
I might have to, yeah, I might have to hunt some people down throughout the states. I did not bring it. I have a different goal for this trip, but I'm looking at an amazing body of water right now. But uh, pretty much, I love the Hobies, and I really love bark. When I find equipment that is just so well made and the quality's great, I can't stop. I mean, that's what I stick with.
Yeah.
But your PFD, your leash, I'll bring a safety whistle. When I'm alone, I bring everything. If I'm with Nate, he's my protector. So, he always has a cooler full of everything you can think of.
Good. Be prepared. Yeah,
Mm, yeah.
absolutely. And bring all those different things. Do you have, this doesn't have to be Arizona, but favorite place that you have ever paddled? It
My own
could be Arizona if you want.
my own backyard, I gotta say. I'm very content with where we are, and the lake that I like to go to is it's still great after 13 years of paddle 13 years. I still love going there, and it changes. The desert's constantly changing, as is the environment anyway. Um, but the water, because the water levels go up and down, it gives it a different scenery sometimes too. So I never get tired of it. And um, my own backyard.
Yeah.
Shout out, shout out to Nate, the black sheep. I wonder who that is.
I don't know, but you'll have to tell Nate. Somebody said black sheep. Maybe it means something to him.
Yeah.
So, Arizona, what, it is desert. Have you seen any animals or interesting things along the way?
Yeah. And another, I have like top 10 to 12 reasons why I will paddle into my 80s. But one of them is that you can see wildlife while you're paddling by. So I've seen bald eagles, everyone's seen those. But
Yeah.
I was paddling past some rocks, and there's a little hole and a little bobcat, just looking at me. And, it wasn't a big deal. He wasn't going to jump out at me. So we both paused, and I sat down and just observed him. And we see bighorn sheep up on the rocks too. They're incredible. Um, the wild horses. Yeah, yeah. Oh, wildlife. I like wildlife.
Yeah, absolutely. With the bird thing and everything that you work with. Yeah, I think that's an extra bonus. Well, like you said, there's a whole bunch of things. So you mentioned that list. Let's go back to that. Like that you're going to paddle. We should be able to paddle our whole lives, right? So that's such an exciting thing. So can you think of some of those others or reasons why you're going to keep paddling?
Well, I think the biggest reason and why I just fell in love with it, um, the human body has over 650 muscles. And Chris, that when we step on that board, the toes are gripping. It goes straight up the kinetic chain, and everything is working, not just your core. So when I thought of the benefits of how many muscles we are using, and we're not even, moving water like you are. The ocean, you guys are, yeah, are much better, much stronger than us. Um, but, and then I think lastly, when it comes to the muscles, facial muscles, I mean, how could you not be happy out there?
Yeah.
That to me is, I get so jazzed over the fitness benefits and the health benefits, not just physiologically, but psychologically, to be there. Oh, it's heaven.
Yep. Yes, Matt, we agree. So good for opening up the body for balance. Yeah.
Yes.
Proprioceptor muscles, we talk about a lot on the open ocean, just that your balance muscles are firing constantly, all these little ones that I certainly don't know the name of. So, yeah, you've talked a lot about that almost spiritual nature of being out by yourself and how can you not smile? And then it's good for physical body and spiritual. There's also, we say like, are paddle people good people to start with, or did being paddle people turn them into good people? Because our community is so amazing. So many great people like you that I met
And yeah.
with smiles on their faces. So, I try to think like, I do think I am absolutely the whole blue mind theory that, being addicted to water, absolutely being in, on, around, it does make me a better person and a happier person. Hopefully I was happy before it, but
Even happier, Kristen. Well,
even happier now.
well, I do feel like that is another reason you can make your social connections through it. And there have been, great friends we have made. And I found my spouse, stand up paddling. So
That is amazing. I mean, he's a great guy, but I didn't remember that you actually met on the water. That's fantastic. Good for you for not just paddling by, but paddling over to see who that was. Starting something new. Absolutely fantastic. Well, any last tips? I mean, so much good advice, and mainly just so great to reconnect with you, to hear about that list. I hope you will keep chipping away while you're doing other wonderful things. I hope you get to release a raptor off of your board. Tell us about that when that happens. And if you can find those wedding pictures, like with the board thing involved, I'd love to share that. We have everyone, we have a Facebook group which announces who's next and everything. But I know not everybody's on Facebook. These are always on Instagram. They go to IGTV. So if somebody just missed it and wanted to watch it right now, it'd be there. And it will be on YouTube on both SupConnect and mine, KT Outside. This is Suzi, and it's so great to see your beautiful face. Thanks for stopping on your journey somewhere in the East Coast.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been so great. Thank you so much, Matt, Marcus, and Samantha. I was just actually sending messages to her. She's over in England, so it's evening. It's dark in some places, but we get people from all over the world, which is really fun. You're welcome, Joseph. Thank you so much for always listening. And it was great to see you, and enjoy your trip.
Thank you, Kristen. I'll talk to you soon.
Hope to see you in person soon. Take care, Suzi.
You.
Bye-bye.